So here's an article from the Washington Post, this time about the U.S. national women's soccer team and how they're not getting paid the same as men, and so they're going to sue. They're demanding equal pay. So let's take a look at the article to get a better idea. So right off the beginning, the columnist, all right, they deserve back pay, about 25 years worth, blah, blah, blah. They talk about how there's a record-breaking TV audience of 25.4 million people in the World Cup final. Okay, great. So very interesting. You guys can take a look at the article itself. It gives you a whole bunch of numbers. So what's very interesting here is it gets down to the bottom, and it talks about how in 1999, they were only making about $15,000 a year. That's pretty low to be a professional soccer player, okay? Entering the 2000 Sydney Olympics, they had to go on strike to negotiate a raise. And the contract was for $18,000, so a $3,000 raise, about 15%. Now, the women said that they signed a $120 million contract with Nike. We think we had a little bit to do with that. So they wanted better salaries, and I don't need a credit card. I don't need a credit card loan. They wanted better salaries and better living conditions, and they threatened to sit out of the Olympics. And so what ended up happening is by 2006, they actually negotiated a contract up to $70,000. So think about this. In 7 years, from 1999 to 2006, it went up from $15,000 to $70,000. So that's almost a 5-fold increase. Okay, fine. All right. Now, obviously, they're not making money like David Beckham or Michael Jordan or whoever it may be. But the point is that they said, okay, we think we're worth more, and so they tried to negotiate. And when they asked their bosses or people who run the female soccer institution, they said, no, we're not going to give you that. So they threatened to sit out. They threatened to go on strike, just like how other people may negotiate for wages. You see, the issue is not about equal pay. It's not about if men earn X, women need to earn X. Because there's actually no way to verify this. Because David Beckham earns millions of dollars. Okay. When he was a really fantastic and one of the best players in the world, he earned even more money. So should he make the same amount of money as another guy on the team who's not as good, who only plays a few minutes? So value is not determined by whether or not you have a penis or a vagina. Value is determined by what people are willing to pay you. So if people are willing to pay David Beckham millions of dollars still, even though he's not playing anymore, it's because there's an associated value with that. People believe that he's worth that much. And he doesn't even play anymore. Is this a problem of equality? And so it has nothing to do with this. And they have shown in the past that they can just threaten to sit out. They can do all these things. They don't need to sue. If I'm playing soccer for $70,000 a year or whatever they're making now, and it looks like it's base pay $72,000, if I have a job and I don't like it, I don't sue my boss. I don't sue my company. You know what most people do? Normal, rational people do? They don't claim that, oh, I'm black and so you're discriminating against me. Oh, I'm a woman, you're discriminating against me. I'm a midget, I've got one arm, I love unicorns and dragonflies, and you're discriminating against me on that basis. What people do is they go, okay, I negotiate with you, and if you don't pay me, I'm just going to leave. But the reality is that these women don't honestly think they're worth more than how much they're getting paid. If they think they should be paid millions of dollars, then why did they settle for $70,000? Because they're not worth that much. Companies will pay you as little as possible as they think they can, and workers, in this case the soccer players, will work for as much as they think that they can get from negotiating with the employer. And so these two competing forces means that they have to meet somewhere in between. And in 2006, they came to the number of $70,000, and both sides were reasonably okay with it, because if they weren't, they wouldn't have accepted the deal. And now they're going to sue. Okay? A group of 5 women are now going to sue for equal pay. But like I said before, how are they going to know which player is actually worth more? Is it going to be based on goals, on minutes played? How is this going to work? And at the end of the day, if you don't like your job, you don't play. You don't work for them anymore. It's very simple. So this is more evidence that has nothing to do with the fact that they're getting underpaid. They're getting paid exactly what they deserve, and they have no negotiation skills. And so they're just going to run to the media and Big Daddy government and hoping that they can play the victim card once again and saying that, oh yeah, women are being discriminated against and all this other hoopla, this pay gap and all this other stuff, which has been, looked at very, very, has been looked at a lot and has been proven to not be nearly as vital or as large in difference. So it's too bad. I don't watch soccer. I'm very interested to see what will happen if they win the suit. Is this going to mean that female ping pong players or tennis players or even the WNBA? If you take a look at WNBA, people don't watch it. I mean, people do, but a small fraction of people watch it compared to the NBA. And so you don't see the people in the WNBA saying that they need more money, because their value is associated with what they can bring to the company. If they can make a lot of money for the company, then fine. And in this argument, in this article, it states that the women are bringing a lot more revenues in. I'm not entirely certain of that. If that's the case, the company will give them the money. No company would say, you're making me millions of dollars, so I'm just going to be a jerk and I'm going to make you unhappy. And you have to sue me to get the money. That's not how it works. So it'll be interesting to see what happens now, but I'd just like to reiterate, has nothing to do with pay gap. It has to do with what value can you bring and your negotiating ability between the employer and the employee.